I'm sorry, y'all. Cut off again. Okay, my bad. So yeah, my dad never really accepted by white Americans, black Americans, but then he moved out to California and he, again he fit in. He felt good. He felt cool around all those Mexicans. He's like, I was like, oh, you the white boy, little white boy. Well, yeah, kind of, and and like there wasn't no racism from them. And like when they saw his father, like, damn, your dad's white, like, and they saw the mom, they're like, oh, you live out here, but like, the mom's more obviously mixed, so he had a lot of cool Mexican friends. Yeah, beautiful stories. I love hearing family stories, like stories from my parents and my grandparents' childhood. I love that. So, anyways, yeah, that's it. I don't know what else I got. My dad is racist as fuck. My dad is racist as fuck. Let me tell you that. But let me tell you why. Okay, because there's always an excuse. It's not like you can't just ignore what they've grown up with and be like, "Oh, you're just a piece of shit. You're just racist." No, no, no. Okay. And my father grew up to seeing his white Cuban father. Whenever he got into a fight with his grandmother, I mean his mother, not his grandmother. So whenever his Cuban grandfather got into a fight with his Ecuadorian mother, it would always be like, "Maldita India," like just calling her like Indian, just breaking brooms and shit, screaming at her, just going off on her, And, he would see that. Obviously, that gets put in your head. You a little kid, and you're just like, oh, what's going on? My parents fighting. What is he on about? Uh, you know? And, so that was that, you know? And he would always see racism from his father. And my grandfather called my white-skinned, green-eyed Ecuadorian mother India de mierda. Que regresas a Ecuador, India de mierda. My white-skinned grandma, my white-skinned mother, my white-skinned, green-eyed mother, man. That's why I fucking hate when I really don't like this whole majority rules. You should just identify exactly with what the majority of your DNA is thing, because it's like my mom does identify as white Latina, so I guess it didn't phase her that much. But I mean, I want to feel accepted by the motherfuckers if I gotta identify just as them. I think I want their approval more than some little cholitos approval. I mean, like, what does a mestizo or a cholo or what say do y'all have in white identity? What validity does your say hold? Nah, I think I'd rather take a real criollo Latino's fucking view on this. My grandfather, his family did not accept my family as no white Latinos, and that's just that's how it is. So, he didn't give a fuck that my mom was white as fuck. He didn't care. She's 65% Spanish. He didn't give a fuck. So I love India de mierda. He didn't give a fuck. So, this racist as fuck. To blacks, to Indians, to Latinos of these descents, don't matter. You gonna get it. If you go out to Miami, talk to some real old school white Cubans, you gonna get it, bro. You gonna get it. You gonna get roasted. You gonna get tried. So, not the newer generations. They like super blackwashed, I guess you could say. I don't know. I don't think they racist like that. I don't know. I'm not from Hialeah. I'm not from Little Havana, whatever. But yeah. So okay, my father saw a lot of racism from his father towards his mother, and my grandfather's just he feels like a fucking god, a little Spanish god amongst these inferior Latinos in his mind, I guess you could say. So there we go. My dad, I mean, yeah, he could be racist as fuck. He would always tell me as a kid, like, don't get with nobody who is less white than you. And not as a kid, like with late teens. So like, don't get with nobody who is less white than you. We need to make. We need to. We never talked to me in Spanish. Really. Like, we need to really like just just get these genes going. White people is betters, man. Come on. Like, and I'm like, So that's just his mentality, bro. He just I mean, like, and I would just be like, in that situation, I'd be like, what about your mother, though? She was like, mostly indigenous, black, Spanish, just triracial girl, a lot of indigenous blood, though. And, he's like, well, we trying to, just racism, bro. Just shit like that. Just that's, shit passed down from generation to generation. And it's weird because his father's not like that. Like, he didn't give a fuck about breeding this mixed Ecuadorian girl. He didn't feel no type of way about that. He didn't hate. He didn't regret it. He loves his children, his grandchildren. So what's that? Like, why is my father more racist than his fully white Cuban father? I guess he has an inferiority complex, is what we'd always fucking pointed to. Like, me and my stepdad would always be like, when he looks in the mirror, like, he just sees, like, straight up Nordic man, like riding a horse, like blonde hair, like like we just crack on him for that. But so anyways, let's dive into my stepfather now, because this is one of my favorite ones. One of my favorite ones, definitely one of my favorite stories about race I could give you from him. So I've been around him my whole life. He's a Puerto Rican, like I said, whiter Puerto Rican mother, blacker Puerto Rican father. He came out dark brown, nappy hair, an afro, yeah. So I would always be with him, and I would have my big old afro back then when I was a kid. I had a lot more, like my hair was a lot bigger back then. So so yes, I would always be with him, and my dad would joke like, "Oh, you strike like everybody see you like they just like you strike 'em white. And that's funny. Okay, um so I would always be around him, and I swear to God, I can't tell you how many motherfucking times have I seen white people just be racist as all fuck. First of all, my dad would always call him like negro, but like in English with the I and the hard R, just whenever he acts stupid, and so my so he acts like a little white boy kind of like he's from the Bronx. He's from the Bronx, but he grew up in South Florida, the same suburb as me. So that's that. So but anyways, I remember this one time we were driving from just right out of the movie theater or whatever. This white dude was just like, no, said the N word, the hard R and all, and he was just on his bike. My stepdad didn't do nothing, and I was like, you gonna take that shit? Let's fucking say something to him, man. I was a little cocky, little 16-year-old. I was like, man, let's fuck this dude up. But he's like, nah, it's okay, I'm used to it. You could tell that it kind of hurts him, but it's just like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you really gonna do? So, bro, white people have just been, fucking shit, bro. White people can be racist as fucking USA. I swear to fucking God. And I just, there's been a lot of situations like that. Like we were in our own community, Fort Lauderdale Beach. Okay, we're just walking through. We were looking at literally just looking at a lizard. Like it was a green and knoll on a tree, and this white dude was just like, "What are y'all doing? What is y'all doing? Y'all live here? Nah, you don't. You don't live here. What are you doing?" He's just like, "We're looking at a lizard." "Oh, you looking at a lizard? You looking at a lizard?" Just we got pulled over a few times. I'll probably go into more details on that in another video, whatever. But I've seen a lot of white people and black people, and what really sucks for us, for him being a darker kind of like blackish looking Latino, nobody ever talked to him in Spanish. None of these mestizos would talk to him in Spanish. And me being a lighter Latino, nobody would ever talk to me in Spanish. Nobody ever talked to me in Spanish. It's fucking bullshit, bro. Why the fuck everybody thinks you gotta be some light brown Puerto Rican or some little mestizo Mexican or Indian, whatever, to be like to know Spanish, to be Latino? It's not like that. We diverse as fuck. Okay. So there we go. And another story I would like to share. I don't know what else I gotta say. Okay, well, from his family, let's hear a little bit around that. His mother, like I said, the whiter Puerto Rican. I remember one time I was at her house. There's this big portrait, this big picture of the 3 children and her, and she's like, "Mira, I'm the only white one. Look at me. I'm the only white one. Look at them. They're black." Yeah, just a little bit like there's a little like subtle racism, but they face racism from black people though. They face racism from black people, and yeah. Well, when his father was, his father from Bayamon, Puerto Rico, mostly black Puerto Rican, or at least half, at least something like that. He was in Bronx, whatever, going home to his family, has a comment with some food. He got jumped and robbed by these black Americans, so it wasn't no fucking love and unity. So I know black people, what? I don't know. I mean, like, it wasn't like that. Like, they didn't care that he was black. It wasn't like no black unity shit. Just like it wasn't no mestizo and indigenous unity. There was no like Puerto Rican and black American unity back then. Okay, I'm sure it's different now in the Bronx, obviously, because they've been living around each other for so long, but they faced some shit. So anyways, the point is, there's a lot of internal racism in Latino families, a lot of internal racism that I've seen, growing up and shit. Another story I would love to share. Okay, I was at my great grandmother rest in peace at their house, whatever. So I was here with my grandmother, my grandfather, my great grandmother. We were just eating, and out of nowhere, my great grandmother, who's a castiza, kind of probably more or less, give or take, whatever, like around a quarter, give or take, indigenous, probably a little bit more than that. Something like that, okay? So we're just eating lunch, whatever, and she's just like, out of nowhere, no context to this fucking quote that she's about to say. She just whispers to me, not whispers, she just said, "Indios de mierda." And I was like, what the fuck? And this is when I'm coming home from USA on some real fucking pro-indigenous shit, some real Mexica movement type days. We hear about the Mexica movement for like since 2013 or so. I was reading like American Holocaust. I was just, really into that. I was listening to Aslan Underground. They're still a great band though. But I was just on a really pro-indigenous type of, faith, a little teenage boy, out here. So when I heard that, I was just like, I did not like that shit. And my grandfather's like, haha, you know what? My father knew Quechua, but it's just because he was in the military. And he just like tried to scare, like, he was just trying to like, like, I'm not an Indian. Don't worry, I'm not an Indian. And that's what you're gonna get when you're in, you're in a relationship with a, like a castizo or like a whiter Latino family. You're gonna see a lot of people who are just like, oh wait, hold up, I'm like y'all too. I know I may look a little bit darker, but I guarantee you, my mother's white. And his mother is white, but was white, but I didn't like that, and it felt like my grandfather had to like just be like, oh shit, how do I get out of this? I know she's not talking about me, but I feel like it was indirect attack. My dad's not an Indian; he just spoke Quechua because he was in the military. Yeah, and it's just like, okay, dude, okay. Okay, if he was from Latacunga, bro, Latacunga's still Indian as fuck. Indians didn't know how to speak Spanish back in the fucking 1800s like that. And what the fuck, you was fucking doing this? No, he spoke Quechua, whatever. He spoke Quechua, not because he was in the fucking military, bro. But anyways, yes. So, there's another story right there. You're gonna get a lot of racism from mestizos. You're mestizos, of course. You get a lot of racism from white Latinos. You're gonna get a lot of racism from white Americans and black Americans, and yeah, okay, cool. What else can I tell you? Okay, well, my mom is white skinned, green eyes, but her sister is brown, dark hair, brown eyes. Not white passing at all, but she's taller. She's taller, way taller than my mom. I was like, she must be like 5'7", 5'8". My aunt, and my mom is like what, 5'3", short as fuck. 5'3", 5'2", I think. 5'2", her 5'1". She's short as shit. So she got the Indian height. Her sister got the white height, but the Indian skin. So we mix. That's how it's gonna be. So what else can I tell y'all? What else can I just wanted to share these little stories that I had for y'all. Again, never really talked about race growing up. I started getting to my ancestry and my history when I was about 15 years old, because it was just like more of a rebellious thing. I was just like, I'm not accepted by white Americans. I don't like this fucking school system. I fucking hate this shit. I hate everybody. I want to be proud about what I am, where my family's from. And I started learning the history of my country. I started learning about